All right, now we're moving into organic finds. Organic finds are finds that are made out of material that come from life, from animals. In this case, it's ivory, which is the tusk of elephants and hippos and so on. But this tusk has been carved in the face of a Phoenician princess. Here's a piece of ivory that's been carved into a jewelry box with lions on one side and a sphinx on the other side. This is a very famous pomegranate carved out of ivory. It's only about half an inch tall. It's really tiny. When you see image of it, you think it's like 4 or 5 inches, but it's not. It's real small. And the significance is around the shoulders here, it has an inscription in Paleo-Hebrew that says, belonging to the priest of Yahweh. And so they believed for a while that this was the finale on a staff carried by the high priest. And if it was, it would have gone into the Holy of Holies, into the inner chamber during Yom Kippur. Now they've determined that the inscription along the shoulders is a forgery. It's fake. But the pomegranate is still believed to be first century. Many times ivory plaques were inlaid into furniture. That's what I think you're seeing here. It's a lioness attacking a young Ethiopian boy, but you can see the beautiful carving in ivory with the paint. Some more ivory carvings of a sphinx that was inset into furniture of different kinds. This is a particular panel that reoccurs in finds. Matter of fact, it's so common they've given a name. It's called the woman at the window motif. And you see it in the same sort of arrangement. You have a window with several layers to it, a balustrade, and a woman with a nice hairdo, and her face is painted, looking out of the window. It says a balustrade there. It's probably an upstairs window. That's the idea. Here's another version. You see the similarities? The woman at the window motif. And they believe that what it's signifying is that this is the queen. And so the fact that she's looking out of an upstairs window with her hair done and her face painted, that it's a symbol of her power and prestige as the queen. At least that's the idea. And that's significant in the story of Jezebel. You remember when Jehu, the general, overthrew Ahab and killed him, the king of Israel, as a military coup. And Jezebel, the queen, fled back into Jezreel. It says she went upstairs and she painted her face. She fixed her hair, painted her face, and it said she went to the window and looked down as Jehu came in. It's possible that this may give us some insight in that act, since it's described what she did, is she's declaring that she's the queen. In other words, it's like the Pope at the balcony at the St. Peter's. It represents a position of power. It didn't seem to have much of an effect on Jehu, though, right? Because he sent some guys up to chunk her down. And they chunked her down, and she burst asunder. And the dogs licked her blood off the streets, and that was the end of Jezebel. But it was a good try. Anyway, I guess, good try. Here's a throne from the Middle Ages made out of ivory. This is a shell plaque. It's not ivory, but a piece of a seashell, and it's been carved into a beast. How many heads? 7 heads, and one of the heads has been wounded. It's been wounded by a god. How do I know this is a god? It's a 2-point god, spike. I think the biggest god I've seen is an 8-point god. I think Nanar was an 8-point god, but this is just a spike god. But he's killing a monster there, has wounded one of the heads. So you can see the sort of the apocalyptic type of imagery very early on.